Have you ever wondered how the last 19 minutes of a condemned person's life would be, like if death was delivered in a completely new and untested way? Today, we delve into an unusual execution method, one that's never been used before in the history of capital punishment: execution by nitrogen gas. This method, while unheard of, is not a product of fiction, but a chilling reality. In the realm of capital punishment, nitrogen gas has emerged as a somewhat novel and controversial method. It was conjured up as a response to the increasing difficulty in obtaining the drugs traditionally used in lethal injections. As countries around the world began to ban the export of such drugs for use in executions, the authorities were forced to seek alternatives. The idea behind this method is simple yet macabre. Nitrogen, a colorless, odorless and tasteless gas, makes up about 78% of the air we breathe. But if it's the only thing you're breathing, it can kill you quietly and quickly. The victim, in theory, would simply drift off to sleep without ever realizing what's happening. It's a method that's stirred up a storm of debate. Some argue that it's more humane, while others claim it's just a new form of cruelty. The question on everyone's mind is, can a method that's never been tested on humans for this purpose be considered ethical? This unusual execution method was approved in the United States in 2014 by the state of Oklahoma. They became the first to allow nitrogen gas as a method of execution, in an attempt to find a more effective and less controversial alternative to lethal injection. Yet the path to this decision was anything but straightforward. It was a journey fraught with legal battles, ethical dilemmas, and a desperate search for alternatives. As we dive into this unprecedented story, prepare to tread into the unknown. The decision to use nitrogen gas as a means of execution was not made overnight. It was, in fact, a decision steeped in controversy, born from a whirlpool of legal battles, ethical debates, and the ever-changing tide of public sentiment. The heart of the controversy was, of course, the method itself: nitrogen gas, an element so common in our atmosphere, being used to extinguish life. This sparked a heated debate among legal experts, ethicists, and the public at large. Some argued that it was a more humane alternative to lethal injection or the electric chair, while others saw it as a cruel and unusual punishment. The legal battles were fierce and unending, with both sides presenting compelling arguments. Advocates for the nitrogen gas method highlighted its quick and painless nature, arguing that it would minimize suffering. However, detractors argued that the lack of precedent and potential for unknown complications made it a risky choice. There were appeals, counter-appeals, and a seemingly endless stream of court hearings. Ethically, the debate was no less intense. Was it right to use such a common element, one that we breathe every day, as an instrument of death? This question haunted ethicists and philosophers alike, forcing them to grapple with the very nature of capital punishment. Public sentiment, as always, was a mixed bag. The idea of a humane execution method was appealing to some, while others were appalled by the concept. The media played a significant role in shaping these opinions, with sensational headlines and dramatic coverage stoking the flames of controversy. Despite the controversy and debate, the decision was made, setting the stage for the world's first nitrogen gas execution. The decision, like the method itself, was unprecedented, marking a new chapter in the history of capital punishment. But as we would soon discover, the story was far from over. In the eye of this storm was the condemned man, facing a death never before experienced by anyone. His name was etched into the annals of legal history, not for his life's achievements, but for the unprecedented manner of his impending death. Our subject, a man of no extraordinary distinction, found himself in a position that was anything but ordinary. His crime? A heinous act, so grave that society deemed him beyond redemption. The details of his transgression, while crucial to his fate, are a dark tale for another time. His trial was a spectacle, drawing eyes from across the globe. It was a lengthy process, filled with impassioned pleas, damning evidence, and the ceaseless hum of public scrutiny. But in the end, the gavel fell with a finality that echoed through the courtroom, sealing his fate. His sentence? Death, but not by any conventional means. No, his end was to be as much a part of this grand experiment as he was. The decision stirred a whirlwind of controversy. The method of execution using nitrogen gas was untested and unproven. Critics argued it was a step too far, a descent into the realm of unethical experimentation. Supporters, on the other hand, saw it as progress, a potentially more humane alternative to the current methods. The man at the center of it all was left with little more than the ticking clock, each second a stark reminder of his looming demise. His fate was no longer his own, but rather a pawn in a larger game of law, ethics, and science. But despite everything, there was a strange sense of calm in his eyes. Perhaps it was resignation, or maybe acceptance of the inevitable. With the stage set, the countdown to the last 19 minutes of his life began. The clock ticked down to the final 19 minutes, a countdown to an untested death. As the hands of time edged closer to the inevitable, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation and uncertainty. This was uncharted territory, a moment in history that would be remembered for its unconventional approach to the age-old practice of capital punishment. The execution process, usually shrouded in a veil of secrecy, was about to be unveiled in its entirety. It was a chilling spectacle, a dance with death choreographed with meticulous precision. The condemned man was led to the execution chamber, a place where the cold, clinical reality of his fate was waiting. The chamber was filled with a gas, nitrogen, an element so common in the air we breathe, yet about to be used in a way that was anything but ordinary. As the nitrogen began to replace the oxygen, a sense of dread hung in the air, a grim reminder of the chilling reality of what was about to unfold. The minutes ticked away, each second seeming to stretch into eternity. The man's breaths grew shallow, his body slowly succumbing to the effects of the nitrogen. It was a scene that was as mesmerizing as it was horrifying, a testament to the lengths humanity will go to administer what it perceives as justice. The nitrogen continued to fill the chamber, the oxygen levels dwindling until there was nothing left but the deadly gas. The final moments were upon them. The man's life was slipping away, the last remnants of his existence fading with each passing second. As the clock struck 0, the world held its breath. The execution was complete, a life extinguished in a manner never before witnessed. It was a stark reminder of the power we hold over life and death, a power that can be wielded in ways that are as terrifying as they are fascinating. And so, in those final 19 minutes, the world witnessed an execution like no other. The execution was over, but the debate was far from it. Once the final tick of the clock marked the end of those fateful 19 minutes, the world was left in a state of disquiet. The echoes of the event rippled through society, sparking a flurry of reactions from every corner. The public, legal professionals, and human rights activists each had their unique perspectives, and these diverse viewpoints highlighted the multifaceted complexity of the issue at hand. For some, the new method was seen as a step forward in the grim world of capital punishment, a supposed humane alternative to the traditional methods. Advocates argued that it was quick, painless, and devoid of the physical struggle often seen in other forms of execution. They pointed to the condemned man's calm demeanor in his final moments as proof of its success. However, not everyone was convinced. Critics, including a significant portion of the public, expressed their skepticism and outright rejection of the method. They questioned the ethics of the entire process, arguing that no form of execution can ever be truly humane. They highlighted the uncertainty surrounding the method, citing the lack of research and the potential for unforeseen complications. The legal professionals, for their part, were caught in the middle. While they acknowledged the potential benefits of a supposedly less violent method, they also recognized the significant legal and ethical challenges it presented. The question of whether this method would be utilized again in the future remained a contentious issue, with no clear consensus in sight. As for the human rights activists, their position was clear. They reiterated their long-standing opposition to capital punishment in any form, arguing that the introduction of a new method did nothing to address the fundamental issue: the taking of a human life. While the debate continues, one thing remains certain: those last 19 minutes marked a chilling chapter in the annals of capital punishment. The echoes of those minutes continue to reverberate, forcing us to confront the gravity of the ultimate punishment and our ceaseless quest for a humane method. As we grapple with these unsettling questions, we are reminded of our shared humanity and the profound responsibility that comes with it.